Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a game developer, and I went from making silly games at my college's game development club to being a part of the Game Awards and founding my own indie game studio. To get here, I've made a bunch of crappy and some promising games. Here is every game I've ever made, from casual game jam projects to A Taste of the Past, my most successful game with an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam and over 1,000 reviews. I'll also be sharing lessons learned along the way. Adventures of an Intern is a Twine game I made by myself while I was super bored during my internship at NBC. It's an absurdist interactive fiction piece about the perils of office life. You start off doing basic tasks like checking your email, then suddenly you're seducing the police? I'm unfortunately serious about that one. This was inspired by Stanley Parable, and there are around 10 endings. Many of the events in this game were inspired by my actual internship, and others I took creative liberty on. I would totally recommend Twine for beginner game writers. Ramen for Two is a visual novel set in 80s Japan. Play as a man eating ramen with his wife every week as you discuss everything from the trivial to your greatest hopes and fears. I made this for UCLA's 48-hour game jam with the theme Past, Present, and Future. I worked on the writing, art, UI, some of the music, and implementation of the writing into Unity. Honestly, I'm still proud of this one. It was proof that I could finish a game. Visual novels are a great first game because it's a simpler genre. I learned pixel art maybe a month before this game jam, and it ended up being super useful in speeding up the development process. Even if your specialty is one discipline, game jams are a great way to try other roles. You Again is a narrative game about navigating a messy breakup and finding comfort in your romantic fantasies. It's full of bugs and isn't great, but I met Kaio, a fantastic composer who I collaborated with multiple times after this project. Game jams are a great way to meet new developers and potentially lifelong creative partners. The Space in Between is a visual novel about an Asian American couple struggling with mental health and identity. To be honest, I hate this game. The art is gorgeous, probably because I did none of it, but the writing is some of my worst. I was going through a tumultuous time in my personal life, and it really showed in my writing. The story didn't have a plot, the dialogue was cringy, and every day I hope no one stumbles upon this game. I did learn one tip though: to avoid bad writing, have a friend read your dialogue out loud. If you feel embarrassed, that's when you know things gotta change. Anything for You is my first game that I could actually see someone enjoying. It's a point-and-click visual novel about cleaning out your grandpa's attic after his passing. Explore artifacts in the room, learn about why your relationship with him is so strained, and relive touching flashbacks of when he was alive. I was really inspired by Gone Home for this. This game was the first time I used a drawing tablet, and I voice acted for the first time in my life. With this game, I realized I really like writing about complicated families, and I like games that have half-written dialogue and half voiceover. I think only doing voiceover in certain parts can make those parts stand out even more. I'll Come Back to You is a narrative game about a music prodigy who fails her first solo performance. She's home for the holidays and wonders if her loved ones will accept her despite her failure as an artist. The Wayfarer is a puzzle visual novel about Misaki, who recently went through a breakup, and her best friend Summer embarking on a trip to Japan. The art is super cute, and you go on wacky yet fun adventures, but the writing is seriously lacking and the puzzle was too difficult. Lesson: please playtest your games. Duck Duck Ghost is a 2D side-scrolling platformer about a duck delivering jam and toast gifts to ducklings who have been nice this year. Play as Santa Duck, who must find the right recipe for each duckling before it's too late. Bonsai at Twilight was made during a reverse game jam. Whatever is your main role in game dev, you do the opposite. That meant I did the programming and my programmers did the art. My head hurt so much making this, as I had it coded since high school, and that was in JavaScript. Unity uses C#. This game is about tending to a bonsai tree. Simple mechanics like picking up scissors and using them to cut leaves were a nightmare. I would highly recommend doing this though once in your life, as you can grow an appreciation for other disciplines and understand them just a little bit more. Dear Ghost is a top-down, story-driven game about a friendly exorcist who must investigate the spirit of a famous author and uncover why she's stuck in this lonely forest. We really overscoped for this, so a bunch of my writing and quests weren't implemented. If in doubt, pick an idea you think you have more than enough time to finish. Meowtini is a cozy game about a cat bartender who has to fill drink orders for his furry friends before time runs out. This was inspired by the Club Penguin pizza game. It's good to sprinkle in lighthearted games, especially since so many of my games are about death and family and grief. Unfortunately, the game has bugs and is completely unplayable. Lovebird is a 2D RPG about a lovebird who has lost their song and must settle down in their new home, befriend charming villagers, complete simple quests, and find yourself. When We Sleep is a 2D action platformer about a sleep paralysis demon haunting your victims. Delaying Ludum Dare is a chaotic platformer about fighting with your team members on what game to make during a game jam. Everything about this game is so random, but it's somehow placed 25th in humor for Ludum Dare. If you're stuck on an idea, you can make your frustration into a game. A Taste of the Past is the best game I've ever made to this day and is the reason I'm still a game developer. Emotionally, I was going through a lot. I was getting rejected left and right from job rejections, and I seriously considered whether I'm good enough for this industry. A Taste of the Past validated that I belong. I originally made it in 3 days, then polished it after for a Steam release. A Taste of the Past is a narrative side-scroller about a young girl overcoming the loss of her mother through cooking Chinese food. In our game, you complete cute cooking mini-games, talk to your kooky ancestors, and reconnect with your cultural heritage. I actually use the lesson I learned from Anything for You in here. Most of the dialogue is written out, except for the final scene, which is voice acted. With this game, I learned that you can tell a powerful story through really simple mechanics, as long as those mechanics feel smooth. This game is heavily inspired by my upbringing and taught me to write from a place of vulnerability. You don't have to tell an epic story about the chosen one. Embrace subjects that make you uncomfortable. And that's it. I am currently working on my first commercial game, which I am both extremely nervous and excited for. If you want to play any of these games, some of them are still up on my itch.io. You can find them at saunderingemily.itch.io. Which game here seemed the most fun, and what video would you like me to make next?